Good afternoon, fellow members of my Caribbean Declassified channel. Thank you so much for joining. And this afternoon, we are going to be dealing with a wonderful, exciting topic, and that is the whole Alofoke versus IShowSpeed controversy, something that is, you know, um, attracting many, viewers and people are talking about. Has the Alofoke controversy damaged the DR's global image? In the digital age, global perception can shift very quickly from admiration to controversy, especially when viral national moments become entangled in disputes over money, recognition, and authenticity. Alofoke versus IShowSpeed, did this clash hurt the DR's image? The Alofoke controversy has taken over social media, but is it now hurting the Dominican Republic's global image? After IShowSpeed's viral visit, what started as a major moment of Caribbean attention has quickly turned into debate, backlash, and division. Some say it boosted the DR's visibility, others believe it exposed deeper issues. So, what really happened? In this video, we break down the Alofoke fallout and what sparked the controversy. I show Speed's role in the viral moment, how the internet is reacting to the Dominican Republic, whether this helped or hurt the country's global reputation. Is this still a win for the DR, or is the narrative starting to turn? Watch until the end. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did this moment help or damage the Dominican Republic? Very fascinating incident indeed, and something that we have to watch to see how it's going to all end in terms of, will the Dominican Republic suffer in terms of its global appeal? And for those of you who don't know, the DR has a very booming economy, and there are many tourists who come here yearly. I think last year they had about over 12 million, as it were, tourists that visit the island. So this is no country that, we can just, not recognize. It is it has a global recognizable image. Now, Alofoke, whose real name is Santiago Matias, is one of the most influential media figures in the Dominican Republic. He built his platform through urban media, interviews, and viral content, eventually becoming a major voice in Caribbean entertainment and digital culture. His brand, Alofoke Radio Show, has grown into a powerhouse, pulling in massive online audiences and shaping conversations both locally and internationally. At the same time, the Dominican Republic itself has been on a strong upward trajectory. The country is widely recognized as one of the fastest growing economies in the Caribbean, driven by tourism, foreign investment, and infrastructure development. Tourism in particular has been booming, I should say. I don't know why I should say that, has been booming. So tourism has been booming with millions of visitors each year, making the DR one of the top travel destinations in the region. So this raises an important question. Did the DR really need a viral moment from IShowSpeed to boost its image? Or did this collaboration create more controversy than value? This is the question that we have to ask ourselves. This wasn't just a live stream, it became a debate about credibility, influence, and the DR's global image. And for those of you who do not know, you must understand that IShowSpeed, which was on a Caribbean tour, came here last Wednesday. He went to the Dominican Republic last Wednesday, in which he was trying to showcase the beauty, right, and the culture of the island in general. Now, I understand that there were allegedly 1.9 concurrent viewers on his live. But eventually, the the live stream viewers, were reduced to just over 300,000 concurrent viewers. Now, that's a big reduction. And the question is why? And some people are suggesting that Alofoke, the Dominican host, actually inflated the numbers. How did he do that? I don't know. But this is the controversy that surrounds him. Did Alofoke fake the numbers? Or is this whole controversy being blown out of proportion? When IShowSpeed came to the Dominican Republic, it was supposed to be a massive moment. Millions watching, global attention, the spotlight on the DR. But now people are questioning everything from 1.9 million viewers to 300,000 concurrent viewers. And at the center of it all is Alofoke, one of the most powerful media figures in the Caribbean. But here's the bigger question nobody's asking. Did this situation actually hurt the Dominican Republic's image or prove that the country never needed this kind of attention in the first place? And that is what we have to look at. So I'm going to, without further ado, let me show you something and show you what um, the controversy is about. A video, a clipping of a video, in which this guy is attempting to explain the controversy surrounding Alofoke and IShowSpeed. So I hope that you will listen. Let me see if I can turn up the volume so that you will be able to hear what the guy here is suggesting.
So let's clear some things up about Alofoke and Speed. Allegedly, when Speed was in DR, his record got broken at 1.7, right? His concurrent viewer stream. The next day, Speed found out that that wasn't true. And he says that his stream was botted. And he never said it was Alofoke who did it. And this report comes from It's a Vibe, because you know y'all said my translation is messed up. He's Dominican, so I'm pretty sure he knows what he's talking about. Alofoke denies that it was, saying that the stream wasn't botted, and says that he's bigger than Speed and he has the same YouTube reps. He says even though Speed didn't blame him or name him, the internet currently is, which triggered this back and forth between him and Slips, which is Speed's team production and cameraman. And he says, show the full panel. And what she did, for people that are confused, the whole stream from that total day got 1.1 million. The argument here is the concurrent viewer, meaning that all the people at once, the highest total number of views of where the stream peaked at, where everybody's watching that one, it was 197, nowhere near 1.7. But still, Alofoke doesn't believe it. And no one is saying that Alofoke uses bots on his stream. We are just talking about what happened with the Speed situation. And DR wasn't Speed's only stop. Other Caribbean countries were rolling out the red carpet as well. When he just went to Jamaica, Beanie Man, Sincere, Popcorn, Gypsy, they all came to check Speed and roll out the red carpet to their country. So even if he's not for you, because I understand that everybody doesn't know Speed, because usually his demographics are usually a younger audience. Same people that's telling me to do my research on Alofoke didn't do their research on Speed. So let's clear some things up about.
Okay, so that's interesting, and he's bringing out some interesting points here. I think what we have to understand that there were in fact 1.1 views, it seems, after the live was finished. That's my understanding. But where the controversy lies is the concurrent viewers, those who are watching at one given moment, at a given moment, at the same time, the live stream, which Alofoke suggested was actually 1.7, 1.9 people on the live, concurrent viewers, and YouTube was suggesting that that was not so. I think it was 300,000, my understanding, or as he's suggesting, over 100,000. What is interesting is that while the DR's, tour was hyped and, and lots of excitement, the people came up with lots of energy in the city of Santo Domingo to meet and to greet IShowSpeed. It is rather interesting that they didn't have the sort of celebrities that Jamaica attracted, like the Sean Pauls and the Beanie Mans and the Shensia, among others, right? Global Jamaican icons that people all over the world know. Well, Jamaica perhaps did not promote its IShowSpeed content or tour as the DR. It seems like because Alofoke has such a large following, I think he has over 1 million subscribers, he was able to promote the show before IShowSpeed got to the island, and they were competing in terms of who attracted the most views. So I think it seems like Alofoke was under pressure because he wanted to prove that the DR is perhaps the capital, the cultural capital of the Caribbean. That is probably what he was trying, because all of these islands were in competition. And the question is why? Why were we competing amongst ourselves as to who, attracted more viewers than the others? What does it mean? This is a 21-year-old guy. Why should he affirm already the strength and the recognizability of these Caribbean territories? I mean, it's something that I really don't understand. Why does he have to validate us? Why does he have to validate the region? And people are still, in terms of comparing themselves and whatever he ate. So if IShowSpeed says that the DR has the best KFC, then that's factual. That is stupidity. That is IShowSpeed's opinion. It is not the fact. It is not the reality. And nothing is wrong if he thinks that he enjoyed a particular food or a particular stay, or his tour was better in Trinidad than in Barbados. Nothing is wrong. That is his opinion. Somebody else could come or do another tour tomorrow and perhaps would say vice versa. So that is what we have to understand. But even adults have been caught up in this sort of global, I don't know what, illusion. It is a global illusion, this IShowSpeed nonsense. And I'm not suggesting that he could not have visited islands and people and show people, but it should be something normal. Should not be like this is an icon. Another, controversy and something that is quite contradictory that I'm looking at is the fact that if you'd ask many Dominicans, many Jamaicans, many people in general, or say that they did not know about him. So how did he attract so many, so much momentum, so many people, to the event? And some of the event, based on what I've seen, some of the things were curated, were staged. So did they just send out a notification to some people? I really don't know what happened. But if you ask many people, they've never heard about him. And what they're qualifying it as, oh yeah, because he mostly appeals to young people. But we saw a combination. A lot of older folks, including my age, were at his gathering. So obviously they know him, or somebody gave these people the limelight. I really don't know what is happening, but there's a lot of confusion where that is concerned. How did this guy suddenly explode in the world that people didn't know him, yet he's so popular and we should know him? Or if we don't know him, it means that we're not informed. That is the sort of, impression that they would like to impose upon us. But has the Dominican Republic lost its credibility as the fastest growing economy in the Caribbean? And there is something here I want to show, though, in terms of the deception that we might be looking at. I told you about IShowSpeed being here in the DR, and that there was a Haitian young man who shouted out his name, and IShowSpeed, when are you coming to Haiti? He was suggesting. And IShowSpeed didn't respond. But Alofoke, intervened and said that this is the DR, and we have the best rum and we have the best cigars, and among other things that he stated, the number one tourism economy in the region. Now, the young man who shouted out with his flag, with his Haitian flag, I understand, was used to probably sell, or was just an attendant at a particular shop in the Conde, in the colonial zone in Santo Domingo. But now that he was able to have gotten prime time on IShowSpeed's show, because he was there dancing with the Haitian flag, and he blurted out that, IShowSpeed, when are you coming to Haiti? He's now an internet sensation, and he was able to terminate his job. That's low-level job, right? I'm sure he wasn't getting earning anything. And now he is an internet sensation. His views have soared. So let me just show you what this man is saying about that thing. And you really wonder what is really happening in the world. Is this all for, you know, is what we're seeing real, or are we living in a world that is unreal and that is artificial?
I
These
was
are
actually
some
feeling really bad for the kid that Alofoke blocked from, talking to IShowSpeed about Haiti. Because at the end of the day, he was just someone that was trying to advocate for his country. And there's a lot of nobility in that. And I did feel bad for the guy until I realized he's getting deals off of that and he's able to get a platform and he was able to quit his job. And now, he's making money off of that moment. So congratulations to him. I was actually feeling really bad for the
right.
kid
So
that Alofoke blocked
oh,
from.
see, right. Alofoke actually blocked him. So was that sort of curated? Was it staged, or it was just at the spur of the moment? I leave that for you to answer. Nobody really knows, you know. But I mean, I really kudos to the man, to the young man here, because now he has, exploded on the internet, and he's able to provide for himself, much better than he would have had he, been still, you know, selling and, in that shop, whatever he was doing. But the fact of the matter is that we're living in some very dangerous times, times in which we are not very sure what really is real from unreal. It's not just, the AI that we have to be concerned about. We have to be concerned about staged behavior, staged human behavior. We have to be concerned about that. When we see people talk, when they behave, are they behaving sincerely or for views? That is what we have to, even when the way how they present the news, everything, commentaries, are they really for real, or are they just acting? Okay? And this is what we have to be concerned about. Now, I understand that Alofoke also was very, very, nosy in terms of wanting to know how much IShowSpeed made, his specific income, and what he does with his money. And that was he had crossed the boundary there. And there was some controversy surrounding IShowSpeed going to a bar or somewhere where he could have something, sat down to eat or and drink, and that he gave $20 as a tip to his attendant. And I understand that Alofoke, was trying to pressure IShowSpeed to pay the young miss more for it in his tip. He gave $20. Probably, I don't know how much the Alofoke wanted him. I'm not sure. I'm confusing myself. How much Alofoke wanted IShowSpeed to have given to the young miss. That is something that, I'm still not clear on. But the fact of the matter is that IShowSpeed insisted that he would not have paid her anymore, and he walked away. That was not very good, Alofoke, if that is true, right? Because you are the host, or you were supposed to have been the host. You should not do something like that if that is true. If those allegations are true, I think that that is a shame that you would have treated your guest in the manner that you did. Another allegation is that IShowSpeed, I forgot what I'm saying here, so I think that I might have that thought has eluded me. But there was the painting now, yeah, the mural that was actually placed on in the colonial zone of IShowSpeed. I understand that it was either, demolished, or they placed a lot of graffiti on that mural because of IShowSpeed's disagreement with his host, Alofoke. That was also something not very good for the image of the Dominican Republic. So will the DR be able to surpass? Will they be able to withstand all of these negative, you know, um, comments, these negative experiences, after the iShowSpeed store? of this country that shares island with Haiti. I'm sure they will, because viral moments, and we have viral moments of negativity, and we also have viral moments of positivity. But I think that it's very important in the future for the DR to understand that global image is something very important, whether it's perceived or it's real, and that they should be on their best behavior. I know that definitely the DR people, the citizens, were on their best behavior, and they I show speed, great hospitality. But the host, Alofoke, I think, needs to rethink his position. That's my little take on the matter. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you'd like, share, and subscribe.